Let's talk about a type of artificial intelligence tool that's blowing up on the internet. It's a new trend that's evolving more and more. The tools are getting better, like Restyle, which basically lets you take a video and transform it into another style. And this is getting more and more advanced. I'm going to give you some tips on how you can use this kind of tool to make even more money with less work. All right? Before we start, you already know. Do you already make money from any kind of video, whether it's a monetized YouTube channel, or do you already use some kind of video AI to provide services, to make videos for your clients and charge for it? Comment below. I want to know. Let's go straight to my computer screen. I brought in one of my favorite specialists when it comes to AI for videos. At the end of the video, I'll share his channel. He makes some points. He applies this kind of technology in certain areas. And I'm going to mention some areas where I also use it to contribute to add to this video, because that's what we're doing here, right? Shall we go then? 3, 2, 1, go.
Today, we're going to take a look at a video-to-video restyler that actually solves some problems we've had before. Besides that, we're going to check out Xfield to see their new character consistency feature and some other updates. All that, plus an AI-powered image upscaler nothing too creative. Yeah, what could that be? Well, we're about to find out. So, to start off, I think you already know that I'm a big fan of video-to-video restyling workflows. I've been playing around with video-to-video since the early days of this technology, back when it was still kind of weird and distorted like this. Oh, don't get me wrong, I still love this stuff. And of course, it opens up a lot of room for creativity when you start using your own footage and bring it into video-to-video workflows. And as I've shown several times here on the channel, you can take some of your rougher AI videos, run them through a video-to-video process, and kind of, save the day. That said, as always, its artificial intelligence seen a thing is ever perfect.
What's interesting is that you can not only take a good video, for example, an original realistic video like this one, something you shot straight from your camera, and transform it into another style, like in this case, anime style, but you can also use some old video footage. So, for example, you could take a cartoon from the 80s, back when there wasn't good 3D technology yet, for instance, or you could even take some old movie, right? A movie where the resolution was still poor, the technology wasn't good, the special effects weren't great, and then you modernize it using Restyle. So you can do that, and it looks amazing. Let's keep going here.
Two major problems we often encounter are excessive stylization, where, things tend to lean toward a 3D animation looker, as I've mentioned in some previous videos. Lip sync. Lip sync always tends to be a bit problematic, but we're getting really close to solving that for good. Today, we're going to take a look at the latest update from the Wizard, and, well, I think that, at least for now, they're really leading the way in this area. So let's check it out with our Once Upon a Time in the West test. Looks like we're one horse short. You brought too many. Seriously. Come on, how hard is it for Chunky Bronson with this line?
Just a reminder, everyone, I'll leave the link here for the Wizard, which is the AI he's using for Restyle, okay?
All right, let's send it to the Wizard and give it a cyberpunk Western style. Looks like we're one horse short. You brought too many. So yeah, this is turning out really cool. The way this was done was, of course, by taking the first frame of each scene and running it through Midjourney to give it a style makeover. Of course, the big highlight for me here was the lip sync. Now, naturally, with the Jack Elam character, in the restyling, he's wearing like a cybernetic mask. We don't have that, but we do capture, the way the actor moves.
Just to explain, guys, how this works, I've already made a video here on the channel about another tool. In that case, at the time, it was Luma. Check it out later. I'll leave it at the end of the video. But basically, here's the thing. How do you tell the AI what style you want? And usually, on most platforms, you upload the original video, okay? Then you send a frame, a photo of the new style you want. So, for example, there's this anime picture here. On some tools, I can create it right on the platform itself. They have some style example, or I can go to another image AI, like Midjourney, for example. For example, I've already mentioned Flux Context here, which today is one of the best, if not the best. You can use ChatGPT or whichever one you prefer. So what do you do there? You take the original frame. So you grab a frame, a photo, a screenshot from the original video. It will be paused. Then you make the style change. You apply this filter in the other AI. Then once you have this still image, you go back to the video AI, in this case Mago, and then you send the first frame, you send the original video, and you send the first frame with the style you want. And then the AI works its magic. That's how it works most of the time. Let's go.
Basically the acting end. This is what I really love about video to video. So getting into Mago, and it's worth mentioning, this new version is still in beta. There's a link to the waitlist down below. Secondly, although this might seem a bit confusing, it's actually pretty easy. Let's go through this quickly. So, starting here with a blank screen, I'm just going to bring in this video generated in Midjourney. I love this one. Like, the sarcastic king, I love this guy. So, we're just going to drag him over here. And you'll notice, as soon as it loads, that we have a sort of timeline happening here. This is definitely the first time I've seen this in a video-to-video restyling tool. All you need to do now is click this little button here, kind of like a magic dust icon. That will open up our options. So, taking that first frame, sending it back to Midjourney for a restyle, we...
See, that's exactly what I said. It uploaded the original video, took a frame, which is this one here, a screenshot from the video, and now it's going to send it to some image AI to create the new style.
You end up with a few different options. All of them look really good. You don't have to use Midjourney, obviously. You can use any image restyler you want. For example, Flux Context as well. So, when we have the image we want to use, just drag it here, and it becomes our first frame. From there, it goes on. Actually, it automatically suggests it here for some reason. That's probably something to do with the beta version.
Let me take a look at the options here. Meanwhile, everyone, keep commenting below because there are a lot of questions. Let's chat here in the video. Style reference, like I mentioned. Here you can enter a positive prompt, which are guidelines you give so the AI doesn't have total freedom, right? To get it out of its head anyway. And there's the negative prompt, what you don't want. Here is what you want, and here is what you don't want. Let's take a look here.
You need to delete this. Actually, it automatically suggests this for you here, so just add it to the prompt. Here you can see that we have our style references. From here, you want to move on to these other tabs. When choosing a model, there are a few different options. Obviously, we're going to choose the V3 beta here. The wizard is spinning at 1280, so the bonus of using a Midjourney video is that we end up getting a bit of disguised upscaling.
Well, here are simply the quality settings. All right? This is more technical, right? It deserves its own video, but let's go. Let's see the result.
You can enable interpolation. Now let's move on to the control net settings. This is where things get really interesting. We have a few different options here, including depth, normal map, pose, and soft edge. The default is depth, so that's what we're going to use for now. You can also adjust the intensity of this. But here, face mean, if we enable it, that's when things get really interesting. Shift is something I noticed, it just increases a little bit. This helps with temporal consistency. Finally, and this is kind of the most interesting and important part, if we come up here, you'll notice that we have this range here. So we can adjust the amount of video basically that we're rendering at once. As you can see down here, I just finished this. I just set it from 0 to 47 frames. And obviously, this only renders that section. So let's extend all of this and redo it. There we go, that's it. Now we have our entire clip. Our evil king looking even more sinister than usual. Now, why would you want to split it into separate clips? Well, going back to a Once Upon a Time in the West clip, if we have a cut,
you could probably put two styles in the same video. I don't really see why you would, right? But it's not Spider-Verse, right? If it were Spider-Verse, there would be several styles in one. But anyway, maybe you want to show it to a client since we're already talking about monetization, which is the focus here, right? Most likely, you can show your portfolio to clients, and then you do it in various styles to show your client the possibilities. Just a reminder, everyone, I have 12 channels, 10 of them monetized on YouTube, and 4 of them involve cinematic videos, artificial intelligence, avatars using AI, people, presenters who aren't met their avatars or my clone. Also, remember that I launched the channel membership here. Basically, at level 1, you'll get early access to videos. I'll also prioritize replying to comments on each video. But at level 2, in addition to all that, you can ask me anything you want, even outside of the videos. You can make a post in the community, for example, which you can do now. You can even add an image and you can ask which AIs I'm using. You can ask for some guidance, maybe about a thumbnail you're unsure about, suggestions for topics where I research my topics to get ideas. After all, it's 12 to 16 videos a day. So how do I manage that, right? So if you want to ask any individual questions there, you can do that. In addition to behind the scenes videos, exclusive videos, special for members, okay? I'll leave it here, actually. I'm not going to leave anything, right? Down here, right, on the video player, there's the like button, which you've already clicked, you've already commented, and so on. And there's the join button. Click on join, you get excellent benefits. And of course, if you like the project, you'll be helping this project grow, okay? Let's continue here. Let's go.
In our scene, what often happens, for example, I'll go to this generation. You'll run into this problem where this was our initial entry image. And then when we get to the Charles Bronson part, yes, he ends up looking like he was stung by a bee several times. So what you want to do is make sure the active slider is set to the last frame of your first scene. Alternatively, you can simply...
Another interesting thing he mentioned, sometimes there's a problem in just one part of the video, right? In a specific frame. Then you can take advantage of what worked and just fix what didn't work. That's really interesting too.
Type a number up here. And then when you run this, it will transition from video to video only in that section. In a way, on the contrary, that was our second scene, where I ended up using the slider. As you can see, if we play it here, let's rewind this. Nothing happens in that first section. It won't even let me play it. But basically, this is the first frame. Moving on to the 1917 test, the famous running one shot from that film, of course. This seems to be a really good test for video-to-video processes.
It was really difficult, a lot of people passing by. And what happens most of the time when you use video to video, right? Because there's text to video where you send the text and it generates the video. There's image to video where you send an image and it generates a video, but you can also use text if you want. And video to video where you send a video, but you can obviously add text as we saw before with positive and negative prompts. But the longer the video goes on, the more time it has, the longer the duration, the more the AI starts to get lost. So that's complicated, right? Let's see how it performs here.
There's a lot going on in this scene. So taking the first frame of this and turning it into, I don't know, something kind of like Starship Troopers and running the AI, we ended up with this. And our final take...
Notice that at the beginning, it's really good. Let's take a look now.
It turned out really impressive. This is probably one of the best video-to-video versions of this that I've seen so far. Everything looks like our character stays really consistent.
Wow, that's really good. It really is one of the best. Actually, I think it's the best. Later, I'll show you the Luma video here so you can see it, which is also really good. And just a reminder, folks, for example, let me give you an idea here. I can take a channel where I make realistic videos with artificial intelligence, run them through this filter and change the style to Disney Pixar, for example, to make them animated. Then I create another channel. I can take the same video and put it in Panavision style, in an old-fashioned style, or in noir style, which is that black and white look, but it's the same video and I can monetize it 3 times. Look at that tip. It's the same thing with languages. I have Portuguese, English, Spanish, and German channels, and it's the same content, just adapting the thumbnail, the title, and the description. There's something else you need to do, like cutting out the pauses and so on, but simply with the same content, you can produce 3 channels. Actually, look, it's more than 3 channels, right? But in this example here, 3 styles, the original, realistic, then anime or Disney Pixar style, and another old style, that more yellowish or noir look. Look at these tips, these awesome pointers.
Our background soldiers aren't, turning into blobs. There's a small issue when that soldier knocks him down because the red shirt ends up turning into a black shirt. But other than that, this is really very solid. I admit, this is perfect. And if it were projected on an IMAX screen, would it fool anyone? No, of course it wouldn't fool anyone. But considering how inconsistent and distorted video-to-video was just about 8 months ago, this is really impressive. And the other reason you might want to split especially longer clips is that as the clip goes on, the stylization tends to soften a bit. Take, for example, the opening scene of the 2nd season of Severance. I really like this as a video-to-video test.
Hey guys, watch this series, okay? It's one of the best. The director is Ben Stiller. Look, he's a comedy actor, but here it's something really futuristic. It's nothing like comedy. It's much more of a drama.
There's a lot going on here. Obviously, we have that full 360-degree rotation around Adam Scott, and I wanted to see, is it possible to do this with the model? So,
just a reminder, guys, what is he going to test? Notice that there's a 360-degree rotation here. Look, I caught it right on the frame. So the face appears and then suddenly disappears. When he turns around again, it has to be the same person, right? And what do most artificial intelligences do? When he turns and comes back, it's no longer the same person. Let's see what happens here. Let's watch the scene again here. All right, let's watch the scene again here.
From the second season of Severance, I really like this as a test for video to video. There's a lot going on here. Obviously, we have that full 360-degree rotation around Adam Scott. And I wanted to see, is making this model valid? So taking this image as a restyling and running it, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. We have the full rotation and,
it's still the same character, right? What do you all think?
The character is still the character. We lost a bit here, yeah.
Yeah, it's already changed.
It looks like he turns more into a 3D animated character. But it's funny because his features are still there.
Let's go. Continuing.
As an interesting experiment with this same clip I ended up generating this guy in Midjourney when I used the wrong Cref code. Basically, this guy looks a lot more like an 80s James Bond villain. I mean, I love everything about this guy. This guy is definitely building a laser to carve his name on the moon. I was curious to see how this would turn out, especially with these light reflections here. To my surprise.
So what is he going to do? He took the original video here from the series. So what did he do? He took it to Midjourney, changed the character here, and now he's going to put it on top, and this will be the first frame. And then, since it's video to video, it goes, right? The artificial intelligence is going to add the movement here. Let's see how it's going to look. Let's go.
Actually, it turned out okay. It turned out pretty good, actually. Now, we have that rotational head turn. I admit it looks more like he's turning than the camera is, but still, the cool thing is that after he enters the office, we can see most of the movements with a bit of morphing there. What I actually found interesting is, those reflections in the glass. When he leaves the elevator, the camera passes right through them. So I thought that was really cool. Finally, of course.
The only problem is that he goes from realistic to cartoonish, right? When it spins, I'll even mute the sound here. During the spin, it looks really good. It looks perfect, but then when he goes into the room, that's when it starts to look bad. Maybe, oh, that looked really good, nice. So when he leaves the elevator, what could be done, in my opinion? Here, look, he could grab another frame here from the original video and do it again. You get it? So you don't lose the movement and don't just make a single video. At least it would be worth testing, right? Oh, this is where it changes. Look, here it changes. He could grab another frame from the original video, right? From the Severance series and do it again. Put the character in, do it. So that would be the first frame again. And maybe it wouldn't look so deformed, right? Because it turned into a PlayStation 3 game, right? Now let's bring the sound back here, right? Let's bring the sound back here.
Movements with a little bit of morphing there. What I actually found interesting is that, those reflections on the glass, when he leaves the elevator, the camera passes right through them. So I thought that was really cool. Finally, of course, I had to run this through now the already traditional Starship Troopers test. For those who don't know, this is a clip from the CGI animated series Starship Troopers Roughnecks from 1999. So
that was exactly the example I gave. In fact, he did this test, right, with this style in another video of his that I reacted to. He did this test. Now, let's see if it turns out it worked well in the other one, right? Which, if I'm not mistaken, is Luma. Now, let's see here with Mago, right? Let's see.
It's starting to show its age. So now here it is running through Mago. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. They're doing their part. And you? Join the mobile infantry. Now, I admit there's still some weird things like with our soldier, there's a kind of strange decoherence happening in the background. But again, in the original material, there's almost no detail back there. It's all kind of smoke and mist in the background. And besides that, our first character here actually remains silent, since we don't have any lip sync until our second guy shows up here. Now, I admit that I actually ran this clip through Mago in reverse. So it's possible that basically we could do another generation of it reversed and maybe combine the two versions, and that might work. But anyway, all of this is getting so good that I'm starting to worry my winter project is going to be like remastering Starship Troopers Rugnax. Or, as mentioned before, this new version of Mago is currently in beta.
Well, I'll certainly leave the link right here for you. I've already signed up and unfortunately haven't gotten access to it just yet. So that's precisely why I'm reacting to his truly amazing video. It's genuinely incredible. I will definitely leave the link to his channel so that you can easily subscribe and check out his fantastic content. Comment below, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you already have a monetized channel on YouTube and use artificial intelligence, or if you already produce videos to sell as a service provider, if you're offering services and monetizing, making money from it, okay? Become a channel member, right? The option is down here. Click there, check out the benefits for you, and I'll leave that video I mentioned a few times with the test of the other artificial intelligence, okay? Stay with me in this video. See you soon.